Hey, what is up, guys, and welcome back to the FCS Football channel. And today we are back with another match preview, this time for Manchester United versus Liverpool, of course, in the Premier League. Now, before we get into the preview, there will be a watch long for this game. Details are, of course, to my side there. So the stream will kick off, well, we'll start at about 7:30 with kickoff at 8 o'clock on Monday night. Obviously, a huge Monday night football with both teams currently winless in the Premier League. And while we're talking about our positions in the Premier League, let's look at the Premier League table. So, of course, given that Arsenal have just beaten Bournemouth 3-0 in what was a very, very convincing performance from the Gunners, they sit top of the Premier League. We then have Arsenal. Have I spelled Liverpool wrong? I haven't changed it to Liverpool. That's the issue. Thank you. Thank you, JVM. What is going through my head? I did it in the comment, in the description, but not in the title. What an idiot. But yeah, so Liverpool, big game. As you can see down at the bottom of the table, we find both Liverpool and Manchester United. Liverpool in 15th, having picked up just 2 points from their opening two games, having drawn 2-2 with Fulham and then 1-1 with Crystal Palace. Manchester United are bottom of the Premier League table, having lost to both Brentford 2-1 and Brentford 4-0. And now, fortunately, in a sense, I wasn't able to do a watch-along for this game. And in a sense, I'm lucky, because what a shocking game. What a shocking performance we saw from Manchester United that day. Horrific. Now, I do think it's important to remember when you're looking at this game is, while we were terrible, there's no getting around that. Manchester United were terrible in this game. You can pinpoint 3 of their 4 goals directly on David De Gea for me. The first one he should obviously save. The second one is an obvious hospital pass to Christian Eriksen and kind of sails him up the river. And those two are undeniable for me, that they are De Gea's fault. The third goal, I think De Gea should claim it. The ball comes into his 6-yard box. He should be getting to that ball and should be claiming it before whoever it is heads it back across goal. And finally, look, you look at the 4th goal they score, our whole team's up the field. And should you know why that is? Because we've overcommitted. Because we need a goal. We've overcommitted. And the only reason we need a goal is because we're 3-0 down at that point. And as such, you can almost kind of still blame that on David De Gea once again. Wish Casemiro was here for our midfield is shit. I agree. And look, Casemiro, if we could have him playing today, would be massive. But chances are we won't. He'll probably be in the ground. But whether or not he's fit and available, it's most likely a no, isn't it, unfortunately? But look, if we look at team news, Liverpool are missing some big players, and not just big players, but a lot of players. Darwin Núñez is, of course, suspended, having seen red, didn't he, against Crystal Palace for that headbutt on Joachim Anderson. Thiago, Diogo Jota are both out with hamstring injuries. Joel Matip is out with a groin injury. Ibrahima Konate has a knock, which will see him out of this game. So look, that's a lot of first-team players out for Liverpool, and we are expecting to see a depleted squad. I think that midfield there now for Liverpool is slightly poor. Fabinho's obviously great. Henderson, look, he's hit and miss. You've got you've got James Milner, who, is he great? Not really for me. You then got, what's his name? Harvey Elliott, who's not traditionally a midfielder. And he's young, so I think at times he can be, what would be the word? Like, a bit silly in possession. Like, he's not fully developed. And I mean, you look at the centre backs, Joe Gomez and Nat Phillips. It will be either or. alongside Virgil van Dijk. I imagine it's probably Joe Gomez, but when was the last time he kind of got consistent first team minutes for Liverpool? He could be slightly rusty. He could not be kind of fully fit for this game. And that is advantage for Manchester United in this game. Look, we know how Liverpool will play. They'll play a 4-3-3. They will have both Trent and Robertson really pushing forward and getting involved in the kind of in the attack, getting forward and to create goals. However, we know their key player is going to be Mohamed Salah. Mohamed Salah has scored goals for days for Liverpool against Manchester United over the last 3 or so years. What, did he get a hat-trick in both games last year? It was something crazy like that. Salah will score goals if you give him the chance. It's all about, for me, stopping Salah. You stop Salah, I think you stop this Liverpool team. Given the fact that Darwin Núñez and Diogo Jota are both out injured. You stop Salah. I don't think Firmino has that goal threat that he once did. And I haven't thought that for a couple of years now. And I think Luis Diaz, I don't think Diaz is a great goal scorer. I think obviously he scored a great goal against Crystal Palace. But I don't think he's someone like a Sadio Mane or like a Núñez or Jota that you can almost, you look at and think he could score today for certain. Well, like you do, like I said, with Jota, Núñez, Mane and Mo Salah. But with that being Liverpool's team news, this is Manchester United's team news. So, Anthony Martial is back after he's missed the last couple of games with a hamstring injury. Well, he's back in training, which to me says he'll be back in contention to start for Manchester United in this game. Victor Lindelof, I'm not sure what injury he has, but he's not back in training yet, so he will miss this game once again. And obviously, the man which JVM has spoken about in the chat, Casemiro, I don't imagine he'll be officially available to start for Manchester United in this game, or even take part as a substitute. I'll be surprised if that transfer is kind of across the line by that point. I imagine he'll probably be in the stadium. We might have kind of like a Varane situation against Leeds, where he comes out, holds the shirt in front of all the fans at Old Trafford, and then we'll see him in the next game, which will be Southampton, I believe. So yeah, unfortunately, I don't think we see Casemiro in this game. Moving on to team predictions, because this is where this gets fun. What team do I believe Erik ten Hag will go with in this game? Well, I think he'll probably go with this, to be honest. So, De Gea in goal. Look, he made his mistakes against Brentford. He came out and he held his hands up and said, look, I've cost my team a win here, or 3 points. Fair play. That doesn't make up for his mistakes. We know the limitations of a David De Gea. But realistically, is he going to play, or is Tom Heaton going to play? It's going to be David De Gea. So, De Gea will start. Diogo Dalot will most likely start right back. I don't see a world in which Aaron Wan-Bissaka comes into this team. There's been just no kind of... What would be the word? There's been nothing to suggest that Aaron Wan-Bissaka will start this game, or that Erik ten Hag sees him as kind of a first team contender. It's always been Diogo Dalot since Erik ten Hag came in, and I don't see how that changes. I think Harry Maguire will be dropped for this game, and I think we'll see Rafa Varane and Lisandro Martinez make up the two centre halves. I think this game could actually be perfect for Lisandro Martinez. I think a lot of people have said about how Tony and teams have targeted Lisandro Martinez with long balls. And look, maybe they have, but they haven't been very successful. But with Roberto Firmino playing, Liverpool don't have height in that front three. And in that, realistically, in the midfielders that are going to be kind of breaking into the box. Which means Lisandro Martinez, his ability on the ball, his ability to kind of, with that recovery pace, I should say, really. And, I mean, he's just a good defender. And if, Ivan Toney, who's one of the best strikers in the Premier League, in my opinion, especially at kind of pinning a defender, if Ivan Toney can come out after a game and say, look, Lisandro Martinez was a real handful as a defender, and I really struggled up against him. Imagine what Lisandro Martinez can do to someone like a Firmino, for example, who isn't that kind of physical presence. So I think Lisandro Martinez could have a great game today. And I think Terrell Malacia will make up the back four at left back. Luke Shaw could be the man, and I wouldn't be mad if we saw Luke Shaw. But I think Terrell Malacia came on against Brentford and played well. And as such, I would say start him over Luke Shaw. Give him that chance that I think he's deserved. Sorry, I just got a message. Yo, how are we, Lukes? How are we? Then in the front four, I think Jadon Sancho will almost certainly start. I don't see a world in which Jadon Sancho doesn't start this game. I think Ten Hag really likes Sancho. I think Bruno Fernandes will probably then start attacking midfield simply because he doesn't seem like he's going to drop Bruno Fernandes anytime soon. So as such, I think he plays him at number 10. Anthony Martial on the left. If he's back from injury, I think he has to start. He was great in pre-season. Yes, he's playing off the left rather than as a striker, but I think he could be quite important. When you're tracking a Trent Alexander-Arnold, you need someone who's going to work up and down, and I think Anthony Martial is capable of that. I've just realised I missed the midfield too. I think Ten Hag will go back to Scott McTominay and Fred. Look, are these two good enough? No, but I think they are the most capable of giving that defense, that kind of back four cover. And it's a partnership that we've used plenty of times against Liverpool. And sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. I think it's just kind of stick them in and hope for the best. Kind of add a bit of height into the midfield and have someone named Fred who will just kind of go hunting for the ball. And then up top, I think Cristiano Ronaldo probably starts. Erik Ten Hag seems like he's got a plan for Cristiano Ronaldo, likes Cristiano Ronaldo, and as such, I think we'll probably see Cristiano Ronaldo lead the line for United. I disagree with McTominay and Fred. With McTominay, Fred, and Eriksen preferred. Well, look, I don't see United winning this game after that Brentford game. Look, I don't see us winning the game either. I mean, in my Premier League preview yesterday, where we obviously where I did my predictions, I predicted a 2-0 Liverpool, and that's probably still the same. Going on to my team, look, there's not much difference. It's the same back four and midfield two. I've gone for McTominay and Fred as well. Now, would I prefer to see an Eriksen in midfield, or someone else but a McTominay and a Fred in that deeper positions? Yes, but the big issue is Liverpool will dominate this game. It's all well and good saying, I want Christian Eriksen and Fred in the midfield too, or Donny. But realistically, I think Scott McTominay, while he's not good enough to play for United, he's really not. What McTominay will offer is someone who will get stuck in. And in a game like this, at Old Trafford, where, look, the fans are, obviously there's the protests and whatever, you need somebody to get the fans onside early. Or, because the players have already been booed a couple times. If McTominay goes in the first 5 minutes and smacks somebody, gets the fans up, get the fans onside, and Liverpool will dominate this game. We'll try and dominate the ball. And I think if you put an Eriksen in there, you put in a Van der Beek alongside a Fred, I think aerially you could be in a bit of danger. We know how good of a passer Alisson is from deep. And, well, just the whole back four, really. You need a bit of height in there for me if in this sort of game. And McTominay brings that. I think McTominay has to play. Look, I've said plenty of times, and I stand by it. Scott McTominay is not good enough. And as soon as Casemiro is available to start for Manchester United, I don't want to see Scott McTominay play for United again. That's how I see it. But while Casemiro's not, you need someone in that midfield who can win the headers, can win them long balls. And Fred can't do it, Eriksen can't do it, and Donny van der Beek can't do it. To me, that then only leaves McTominay. If Pogba was still here, then I would say, yeah, you can go with a Fred and a Pogba in the midfield too. But I don't think you can go with Fred and one of the others simply because they're not tall enough and they won't win enough headers. And kind of make that midfield a dogfight, which is what is so important for me in this game. If United are to go and win it. And then once you have that, you then have that front three or front four of Bruno Fernandes, Christian Eriksen, Jadon Sancho, and Anthony Martial, who will kind of have to create chances for themselves. And that's kind of why I've gone for Anthony Martial over Ronaldo. I think what Martial is better at than Ronaldo is kind of dropping in, kind of linking play. Yes, he's not as good as a goal scorer, but Martial can score goals, and we saw that in pre-season. But I think Martial is a better creator and a better facilitator of play than Cristiano Ronaldo. And when you're trying to create chances for yourselves, I think you need someone who can facilitate a bit more, and that's Anthony Martial's game as a striker, as well as the fact that he can score goals. I think with Christian Eriksen, you're going to have to ask him to drop a little bit and kind of help both McTominay and Fred with kind of playing through the lines, because we know Fred and McTominay can't do that. And I think Bruno Fernandes, he has a big game helping to track Trent Alexander-Arnold going up and down, up and down. And then when we can get the ball to Bruno on the counter-attack, he then, them long balls, which he can do and loves to do, they need to be on point, hitting the players like Sancho, like Eriksen, like Martial. Martial then can hold it up, try and offload, and have players running in behind him. In an ideal world, you'd have a fully fit Marcus Rashford playing in that position on that left-hand side. However, we just don't have that. And I don't think Marcus Rashford, effort-wise, is there. And I just don't think you can start Marcus Rashford in this sort of game. I told you Fulham 3, Palace 2. Fulham 3-2 and Palace to smoke Villa. You did. I mean, I don't think my predictions were too bad. Wolves, I said 2-1 Palace. What was Palace in the end? I said 1-0. You said, yeah. I mean, they weren't bad. I think, did I get Arsenal spot on? I think I did. Look, I'm not unhappy. I predicted 3-0 Brentford. What was the Brentford score? I can't even think who Brentford played. Fulham, obviously. Up the Gunners. But look, that is my team. I mean, what starting 11 would you guys play? But look, let's just talk about the game quickly before we kind of wrap this up. Like I said, please do get your predictions for this game in the chat, and if you want to let me know your starting 11s or any just comments and thoughts on the game, please do. But look, where do you see United finishing this season? I'm still going to back us to get top 4. It's early on in the season. I still back us to get top 4. I'm not even sure how confident I am in that, to be honest. But you got to back your boys. Especially with Casemiro coming. The first 3 games of the season, it's not vital you win all 3 to get top 4 for me. If Liverpool were to draw this game, so they would they only have 3 from 3. Would we all be saying Liverpool can't get second place? No. So I don't think we can sit here and say then Man United can't get at least 4th. So yeah, if Liverpool score early, I think you'll collapse and lose 5-0. And I wouldn't be surprised. Look, United need to start the game well, and I think that's kind of another reason why I've gone for that kind of more combative midfield too in McTominay and Fred. We can't be open early on. We can't concede early. We've got to stay in the game. You think back to when we drew 0-0 with them when they had that injury crisis and whatever under Ollie, and the year we came second. The aim of the game was stay in the game. Come the 60th minute, make sure you're still in this game. You're at 0-0. The game is still there to be won. Because so often recently, and especially against Liverpool, By half-time, we're 3-0 down, the game's gone already. So you have that more combative midfield too, and make sure, and you have your wing-backs tracking the whole time, so you make sure you get into half-time, you get to the 60th minute, it's 0-0, and then maybe you can start to think, maybe you bring on a Rashford, maybe you bring on a Van der Beek, a Cristiano Ronaldo, and you go for the game a little bit more. Because chances will start to come when Liverpool have to push forward, because they know if they want to be in a title fight, they've got to win this game, given how poorly they've started this season. So they are going to start overcommitting players, getting players forward, and that's when Manchester United can then hit them on the counter-attack, on the break, and score some goals for ourselves, and kind of win the game on a counter-attack, like we saw from Palace last week. They sat deep, they absorbed pressure, they were combative in midfield, and then when they get the ball, they're quick on their counter-attack, they get their goal, and they make sure they're in the game still. That's what Manchester United have to do if we want to get something from this game. If we want to win this game, that's the blueprint. You can't expect to go toe-to-toe with Liverpool. You can't expect to dominate the ball against this Liverpool side. You've got to expect to stay, you've got to fight to stay in the game, and then you go and win it on the counter-attack, because we're not Man City. We're not able to go toe-to-toe with them, realistically. If we can win if we defend well and create 3 good chances for Ronaldo, as I don't see who else scores. We can't perform the Ten Hag tactics against Liverpool with these players. And I agree. It's all about staying in the game. Stay in the game, you counter-attack, and you hope for the best. You don't overcommit players, because a draw for Manchester United is a better result than a draw for Liverpool. And because of that, we can be happy, sit in a slightly more defensive shape and absorb pressure and say, Liverpool, you come try and beat us. And then you get that front three to create for themselves, work hard on and off the ball, and you get a chance, you've got to take it. And if it comes to the 60th, 70th minute, we're still at 0-0. Then Bruno comes off. Marcus Rashford comes on. You bring off a Martial. You put on a Ronaldo. You then have pace on the counter-attack, and you have the goal-threatening Cristiano Ronaldo. Boom. Chances will come. And then it's up to those players to put the ball in the back of the net. I hate to say it, but we have to counter-attack, otherwise we get ripped apart. But that is not embarrassing to say against Liverpool. Liverpool, most 99% of teams have to do that against Liverpool. Especially teams that have, and that's better teams than have midfields that include Fred and McTominay. So, and a win's a win. Come the end of the season, if we win the game by playing counter-attacking football, defensive football, yes, it won't be the most enjoyable game to watch. But come the end of the season, when we're looking at the Premier League table and we've got 3 extra points, we're not going to look back and think, oh, that 3 extra points came from a really dogged performance against Liverpool. We will look back at that and think, wow, we got 80 points this season. That's more than Spurs got. So that's why we got top 4 and they didn't. So yeah. Last time United tried to do that, it ended 4-0. But that's what. But we didn't stay in the game. That's the thing. You've got to, and that's where it. Look, staying in the game against Liverpool isn't easy. It's never going to be easy. But that's how you have to play. And it's about the effort levels. It's about the want to stay in the game and to fight Liverpool. You saw it from Palace. You saw it from Fulham. They fought Liverpool. They didn't try and beat them all out attack. They had a job. They wanted to go toe-to-toe. They didn't want to go toe-to-toe with them. They wanted to stay in the game, hit them on the counter-attack. And that's how you beat Liverpool. When you're not as good as them. It's all well and good Liverpool and Man City going toe-to-toe with each other. United can't do that. So we've got to be realistic. Sit out like this. And I think we can win this game. That is 100% the team to play. Apart from Bruno, I would play Garnacho. He looks special. The only thing I would say about Garnacho is what you need from these look. Before we'll go to this screen. So I'll put the right players in. Where's Fred? There you go. So this is the thing, obviously. What you need is both your wingers doing this. You need them up and down constantly. Because realistically, with Liverpool, their fullbacks are so important to them. They are up and down all game. So you need your two wingers to track them. And I don't know if Garnacho, at his age, will do that. I think Garnacho is too raw of a talent at the moment to kind of say, this is what you have to do. I think Bruno Fernandes and Sancho can do that and will do that job. And that's why I'd play him. I'd even consider starting Alanga because, again, he can do that job. And with Eriksen, at times, realistically, this becomes that. With your two wingers, tracking back, and then it's about kind of Eriksen will be the one kind of making up for the lack of ball-playing ability of Fred and McTominay. And whenever we can get that ball to Martial, he needs to hold the ball up. And that's when you need to see Bruno Fernandes making them runs. Sancho the same. And that's how you create chances. And that's how we win this game. But it's a shame we don't have a Marcus Rashford, like a fiery Marcus Rashford, because I think he would be unbelievable. But we don't have that, unfortunately. I agree with you. You have to adapt because of the players. Hold on. I agree. United have to play like Spurs when they play Liverpool and City. Yes. And look, if Spurs and Conte's doing it, then we shouldn't be ashamed to do it either. I agree. You have to adapt because of the players. We got to get the best result possible. Yes, I get that. Stop Trent and Robertson, and you stop the flow of Liverpool. I'll play McFred a bit. I would play McFred a bit. We would have no choice at the moment. But I wouldn't play McFred, but we have no choice at the moment. Yeah. But look, that's when the magic of the signing of Casemiro comes in. Casemiro comes in, instantly improves that, and we don't have to see McFred anymore because we've got then Casemiro to do that McTominay role. You could even get away, because he's so good defensively, you can then get away with maybe even starting Donny or Eriksen alongside a Casemiro, potentially. I think you could even, with Casemiro, and we'll go back to this quickly again, you could get away with Casemiro there, a Van der Beek there. Something like that. Similar to what kind of Real Madrid do. With Donny van der Beek and Eriksen being kind of Modric and Kroos. Obviously, defensively, they would need to be better than they currently are. But I think both of them are capable defensively. Especially Donny van der Beek. So I think that midfield three could become something we see quite often this season. But look. Rashford just runs in to break the rules when he takes people on. He's changed. Yeah, and that's what I mean. If Marcus Rashford was at his best, then you'd start him or he would be at least a consideration to start, because that pace on the counter-attack would be so important and so dangerous. But we don't have that. Fred might work with Casemiro this season because of the chemistry of Brazil, but not for a league title. I mean, Casemiro and Fred play together for Brazil. But that's how well they work together. They could work. But look, I don't want Fred starting for Manchester United, just like I don't want McTominay. Realistically, Fred is not good enough. How you can we've kind of accepted Fred as an actor as if he's good enough. Yeah, we forget the fact that he still can't pass. Like, Fred's still not good enough. He's better than McTominay, but he's not good enough. He's a squad player at very most. But yeah. But look, I'm going to end this stream here. If you have enjoyed, please hit that like button below and subscribe if you are new and you haven't already. That would be greatly appreciated. Like I said, there will be a watch along for this game on Monday. I don't believe there's a link in the description yet, but if you subscribe and you turn the notification bell on, when we go live, that will be You'll be alerted. And if you're watching this as a video, thank you for staying for the whole thing. And there should be then the link in the description when this is a video. But yeah, thank you all for watching. Yeah, Fred ain't good enough, but if this is this is a set of players, then we have to do. Yeah, Fred's not good enough, but he will have to do. But yeah, so thank you all for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one in a bit. Peace.